Welcome back to Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today is Wednesday, March 25th, 2020. And let's find out what's going on in the world of bodybuilding and fitness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Recap Wednesday, as the bodybuilding world continues to deal with the fallout from the coronavirus. We're starting off today's show with a little bit of non-bodybuilding news following the International Olympic Committee's announcement this week that the 2020 Games are going to be officially postponed until next year. I want to highlight this as our top story here because we see something as big as this and as global and as internationally beloved as the Olympics being forced to shut down. Well, I think it drives home the point that we might not have an IFBB season this year. I get the moving parts with the IOC and the IFBB are completely different, but that doesn't mean that we shouldn't all be looking at what happened with the Olympics and the NBA and the NHL and Major League Baseball as precursors for what's coming down the road. These are strange times we are living in, for sure. In case you haven't heard, a few days ago, a mini feud erupted on social media between Patrick Moore and King Kamali, after Patrick took offense to some of the King's comments following the Arnold Classic. Now, in King's defense, if you go back and listen to the comments, he wasn't throwing shade at Patrick, they were actually complimentary. King said he thought that Patrick should switch to classic physique because he thought he would give Chris Bumstead and Breon Ansley all they could handle. As an open competitor, Patrick took offense to that and decided to let the world know that he was mad. Now, with all that's on the table, can I be the adult in the room for just 1 minute? Listen, there's plenty of stuff to get offended by, but having someone go on the record and say they think you could be an Olympia champ in another division, well, isn't the worst thing in the world. I love Patrick Moore. He's a good friend, so I understand where he's coming from, but what are we doing here? This isn't high school. There's plenty of stuff to get offended by, but having someone go on the record and say they think you could be an Olympia champ in another division isn't the worst thing in the world. What are we doing here? Is this high school? Are we seriously having he said, she said battles on social media? Someone said something you don't like, so what? People are constantly talking bad about me or saying things I might not like. Do you know why I don't respond? It's because I don't give a crap. You guys both are over 30. Can we just agree to act like adults for 1 minute? Or maybe not. It is kind of entertaining, and I do love Patrick Moore. He's a really good guy, and I like King Kamali as well. Let's get you guys on Iron Debate. Contact me. Now that I'm on a roll, I figure I might as well keep going. A few days ago, Shawn Rhoden and Brandon Curry went live with a conversation where Shawn decided to share some of his thoughts about the way Phil Heath handled himself after the 2018 Olympia. According to Shawn, Phil wasn't exactly congratulatory after Shawn's win, and I guess that's something that's stuck with him for one reason or another for the last 2 years. So here's my thing with this. What purpose does it serve? What good does it do anyone to put this all out there for public consumption? Again, are we adults? This is 2020. We all know how the internet works. Why would you think people would hear that and think to themselves, oh, that's an interesting take on the situation, and then decide to react rationally with the information? This stuff doesn't do anyone any good. All it does is draw negative attention to people who should be our brand ambassadors. Do you ever hear Tom Brady doing stuff like this? How about LeBron James? Mike Trout? The answer is no. They never do because it's silly. I get where we're all trapped inside our houses here during this quarantine, but can we just stop this stuff? This is starting to get just a little ridiculous. On a lighter note, have you ever sat around asking yourself how one of these guys from the World's Strongest Man would do on a bodybuilding stage? Well, I hope not, because then you definitely need more stuff to do. But if you have, this is your lucky day, because during a Q&A on his YouTube channel, Brian Shaw was responding to some fan questions when someone asked if he'd ever thought about competing as a bodybuilder. And according to Brian, he says that this is something that he and Eddie Hall have joked about before in the past. Considering the fact that both of these guys were around 400 plus pounds at some point in their careers, I think there's a 0% chance of this ever happening. That being said, These guys are as mentally tough as anyone. So if they ever do decide to follow through, I'm sure they'll probably end up looking a lot better than most people think. And that does it for yet another edition of Muscle in the Morning. I'm Dave Palumbo, reminding you to always be true to your passions. And make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.